You can eat high carbs and still see lower blood sugar levels, which is the complete opposite of what most people have been told to do in order to regulate their blood sugar, which is also why most people remain on diabetes medications for longer than they should. If you've been terrified of eating certain carbs like bread, rice, or potatoes because you're afraid they're going to spike your blood sugar, you've been lied to. Okay, not completely, but you haven't been told the whole truth. In today's video, not only am I going to share with you how to make the best barbecue sweet potato black bean burgers that are delicious, easy to make, and won't spike your blood sugar levels, but I'm also going to be sharing with you why you should not be afraid to eat carbs, especially as a type 2 diabetic. Let's get into the video. The first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Now I'm going to take my first high carb ingredient, which is sweet potatoes, and begin piercing them all over with a knife. You can also use a fork if you want to as well. It works just as well. You can also buy canned sweet potato puree if you want to skip this step altogether. But I personally find that using fresh sweet potatoes works really well for me because it's so simple to do. From there, we're going to place these into the oven to roast for about 40 to 45 minutes or until soft. The very first thing you need to know when creating high carb meals for blood sugar balance is that not all carbs are created equal. For example, potato chips and brown rice are both carbs, but one is clearly healthier than the other. There are two main types of carbs that you need to be aware of, and those are simple carbs and complex carbs. Sweet potatoes are complex carbs, which means they're higher in fiber and minerals that your body needs, especially as a type 2 diabetic, because they help to regulate other areas such as your nervous system, which controls the stress response, high blood pressure, which impacts your blood flow, as well as cholesterol levels and heart health. While our sweet potatoes are roasting, we're going to get into our next high carb item, which is black beans. After all, these are sweet potato black bean burgers. I just bought like a 79-cent can from Walmart, so you don't have to be fancy, although you can make your own beans. But this is the quickest and easiest version that I'm showing you right now. You're going to drain and rinse your black beans really, really well. And then after that, you're going to begin mashing them with a fork. You can also use a potato masher, or you can even put them into the food processor as well. But you want to continue mashing them until the texture becomes nice and thick. The black beans are going to be our main source of protein for this meal, which is perfect to keep your blood sugar balanced and also to keep you satiated in between meals. They're also high in fiber and complex carbs as well. If you've ever wanted to know what the magic pill was for diabetes reversal, it's fiber. As I always say, fiber is king, which is why you don't have to be afraid of eating complex carbs as a type 2 diabetic. The magic of fiber comes from the fact that it slows down the speed at which your body digests your food, and because of this, it slows down the rate at which your blood sugar increases, therefore preventing a blood sugar spike. When you have fiber from complex carbs, which you can only get from plants, and then you have other foods like beans and lentils that are high in protein, not only is this going to help you feel fuller longer, which is going to dramatically reduce your sugar cravings, but it's also going to keep you from grazing in general throughout the day and prevent binge eating at night. And this is because you're getting a slow and steady release of energy, which we'll talk about next, from the fiber and the protein, which is going to keep your blood sugar levels balanced from one meal to the next to the next. Next, we need something that is going to act as the binder for our burgers. And for that, we're going to use a flax egg. So you're going to take 2 tablespoons of ground flax meal. I love the Bob's Red Mill brand. And you're going to mix it with 5 tablespoons of water. This is going to give us 2 flax eggs. Flaxseed is a great source of fiber and omega-3s, which is really great for reducing inflammation and cholesterol levels. It's also really good for digestive issues like constipation, as well as hormone production, which is vital for blood sugar regulation and just type 2 diabetes in general. Once you've combined the flaxseed and water, just let it sit to the side while you continue your other preparation. Speaking of hormones, one of the biggest side effects of type 2 diabetes is having little to no energy. One of the biggest contributing factors of this is not eating enough carbs. Carbohydrates are your body's main source of energy. They help to fuel your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your nervous system, and every organ and tissue and cell in between. Think of it this way. Your body is constantly, every single day, performing millions and millions of tasks. most of which you're unaware of because they're done involuntarily. However, with everything that your body does just to keep you alive day by day, that takes a lot of energy. And if you're not providing your body with the right type of fuel, it's going to stop working. It's very similar to your car. If you're driving your car all day and night and you haven't put any fuel in it, it's going to stop running. Or if you haven't put the right type of fuel in it, it's not going to run as well. So I guess you should start treating your body the way you treat your car. Next up, we have our add-ins. And for the add-ins, we're still focusing on complex carbs, but we're incorporating more non-starchy veggies. This is one of the ways that we're going to add more color and give our burgers more flavor, but also boost the overall nutrients and fiber going into them. For this particular recipe, I've chosen onion, red bell peppers. I've even thrown in some fresh garlic and also some cilantro. The great thing about this recipe is that it's so versatile. You can literally use whatever you have in your refrigerator and add it to this recipe. In the past, I've used spinach, parsley, kale, different color bell peppers, carrots, green onions, you name it, you can totally use it. You can also switch out the black beans for another bean, which I've also done in the past, and I'll link that video above in the cards and the description box below so you can watch it next. From here, it's time to combine everything together. So once your sweet potatoes are out of the oven and they've cooled for a little bit, you want to remove the skins and place the flesh inside the bowl with your black beans. You want your sweet potato to be big enough to get you about a cup to a cup and a fourth or so of sweet potato puree, which is why I use 2 of the small ones. After that, you want to add your flax eggs and then all of your veggies and add-ins. This is also the time where we're getting ready to add in some spices. So I'm going to add in some sea salt, black pepper, cumin, oregano, smoked paprika, onion powder, even a little bit of turmeric. And don't worry, this recipe and all of the measurements will be added to the description box below. After you've added your spices, you want to start mixing everything together really, really well. There's only going to be one more ingredient that we need to add to this, and that is flour. I'm using cassava flour for this recipe because that's what I had on hand, but you can use oat flour, brown rice flour, spelt flour, whole wheat, or any other fiber-rich flour. From there, you want to take them to your baking sheet and either line it with a parchment paper, preferably, or a silicone mat, or you can also spray a very thin coat of cooking spray on it and begin forming your burgers. This recipe is perfect for meal prep as well because you can make a big batch and just freeze them for quick meals throughout the week. These are going to go into the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes, and after 10 minutes you want to take them out and flip them, then bake them the rest of the way. Once they're out of the oven, I am taking this G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce and topping each one with about 2 tablespoons or so. Now all that's left to do is add one of these burgers to some bread. I'm using whole wheat here. I added some hummus and avocado to my bread instead of mayo with a bunch of my favorite burger toppings such as lettuce, tomatoes, red onion, which is going to give you even more fiber and nutrients. And you have yourself the most amazingly delicious, high carb, blood sugar friendly meal. Enjoy! One of the best things about eating carbs as a type 2 diabetic is the fact that complex carbs from fruits and non-starchy veggies, whole grains like oats, quinoa, brown rice, beans, and legumes, they actually help to cleanse your blood and therefore increase insulin sensitivity. The only way to naturally balance your blood sugar, lower your A1C, and completely eliminate the need for harmful diabetes medications is to reverse insulin resistance. I go into more depth about insulin resistance and what that actually means in this video right here, and I encourage you to go watch it after this video so you can learn about what other foods you should probably start trying to avoid in order to reverse diabetes and come off of harmful diabetic medications once and for all. Of course, I will have today's full recipe listed in the description box below, and you can always feel free to join me inside of Dominating Diabetes Academy, where I take you step by step, week by week through the process of reversing diabetes and eliminating your need for harmful diabetic medications for life. You can click the description box below to learn more. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in this video next.